Hey, social media family, it's your girl Danielle Spencer. I was supposed to kind of change focus a little bit and talk about toxic bosses and how it related to my story as a whistleblower. However, there were, I want to say, three news stories that happened that are of particular interest to me. So I'm going to wait to talk about toxic bosses and kind of talk about those three news stories. The first one, which is really, I want to say down my lane and kind of what I really feel relates to me as a whistleblower in my books, is the a story that Rachel Maddow did on her show Monday. And I'm not going to go too much detail, but it was excellent. And it talked about a certain type of spyware. Um, and it talked about how it was can be used to spy on your phone, spy on people connected to you, like your contacts in your phone. A lot of interesting information was provided in that story. And what the reason why it's so interesting to me and why I highly recommend anyone to go listen to it is I believe that, as I stated in my book, I believe I was the victim of retaliation. And in my book, I talk about a lot of things where I believe that technology was misused against me and against people who were in my circle. And one of the incidents that I document in my book that happened was that when I would be speaking to someone and it wasn't someone that I usually speak with or talk to, how the microphone on my phone would just turn on. I didn't turn it on, it would turn on itself as soon as that person's voice was heard. The other incident that I document in my books that happened was when I went somewhere out of my, usual, I kind of stayed at work a lot longer than I usually did. And I was speaking to someone and my phone turned itself on and started taking pictures. Um, to me, I think it's taking pictures of the location. And I noticed it, but the person with whom I was speaking noticed it too. And it was like, what is going on? Because it wasn't like I accidentally touched the phone or anything. The phone was far away from me. Let's say I'm at my desk and my keyboard, it was on the other side of the keyboard. I had not touched it. So it was very clear to see that the phone is doing this on its own. So to me, these capabilities that has been around a lot longer. However, I think it is important that people educate themselves on this type of technology and what it can be used for and how it can be misused. And that to me points to the second story where I believe it's Amazon, where they were stating that they're going to lay off, like I think 14,000 people because they're going to use artificial intelligence or AI, artificial intelligence or AI a lot more. And so people, to me, are getting concerned about, people losing their jobs and everything, which I understand. However, to me, while certain types of jobs may be going away, there are other types of jobs that should be coming up and that we as citizens should be demanding be in place to kind of govern or police AI. We're going to need a lot more people who understand forensics, computer forensics, um, uh, tech, uh, document forensics, video forensics. We're going to need a lot more people who really understand and can be able to tell when something is real or it's been computer generated. We're also going to need more people who are going to be able to audit, um, be able to come up with policies to audit, and to be able to perform audits on the use of AI and its governance. So while these jobs might be transitioning out or being phased out, there should be a whole series and different series of jobs that are being phased in because people are people, humans are humans, and it will be misused. I'm sure there's stories around of it being misused now. I'm a big Law and Order fan, SVU, and they did a episode recently where um, these kids were playing around with this AI engine and creating all these fake videos. And it was hard for the tech people to really see that they were fake. So to me, that calls for a whole new series of jobs that should be opening. But we as the people need to be should be demanding that, demanding it in policy and demanding it in the legislature so that we can protect ourselves. Most people are not paying attention to it because you haven't been negatively affected by it yet. But this is something that I believe that the public should be paying attention to and should be demanding that we have jobs that are going to make sure that the use of AI is not misused. And lastly, it was a statement that was made by the president of my union, AFGE. Um, and some of the statements of other people that, well, we understand or, whatever about what he said. One of the things that I've stated this before and I put it on social media before, I worked for a company almost 30 years ago where we were forced to work without getting paid because the company was having financial issues. And we could not work because then you would run the risk of getting fired. And we couldn't quit. I mean, you could quit if you had a position already lined up, but if you didn't have a position already lined up, you could not quit because you wouldn't be getting income, but you would not qualify for unemployment. I lived through that for almost 3 months. So I have a completely different viewpoint of labor rights and understanding of why we have unions and why we have labor laws. So I do not agree with the statement by the AFG president, and that's my opinion. But I also think that unions, while you might have a specific lane in which that you're fighting for, we need to have a more unified front and more solidarity as labor organizations as a whole, where we look a little bit bigger picture than just right now. Um, Again, I am very much against, I don't care if they're going to get paid later. If they're working right now, these people need to be paid right now, not in the future. Um, I don't, I won't listen to trolls to try to say it's this, that, and I don't listen to that because I lived through this. So because I have that lived experience, I have a completely different viewpoint. Um, and I will be expressing that with the union, and possibly withdrawing my support until something changes. Um, I almost currently certain that I will be withdrawing my support until something changes. I'd rather support organizations that are truly for labor rights and not labor rights when it's convenient or comfortable. Um, to me, I think a lot of us need to learn to be a little bit uncomfortable, and we may have to be uncomfortable for some length of time, but it's going to be worth it. And learn that just because you win that battle, the war is long term. We will always have people who are going to try to take advantage of people. You're always going to have people who um, do not want to pay people wages, who don't think that retirement should be for regular or low income individuals. You're always going to have those people in a time. As long as you have human beings, they're going to be always there. So we need to be able to understand that and not think once we get a victory that the war is won. No, we won that battle, but the next battle is upcoming. So those were like the three stories that I saw, and I really believe that I wanted to bring attention to, especially I want to say all of them to me correlate with what I went through as a whistleblower, and that things that I touch on and talk about in my books. So I don't have a copy of the book right now, but I'll put a link again below to the books on my author page. Um, Definitely check it out. If you can't afford to purchase them, I try to get them as many libraries as possible. Check it out at your library so that you can understand how technology can be misused and how not having governance or oversight over the use of technology or having laws or policies on the books can cause harm. And it can be where people can be harmed and you not know and not knowing how to fight. But that's the I'm gonna say like midweek video that I wanted to do and talk about. Comment below about if you know organizations that we can support labor right, truly support for labor rights, um, AI governance and things like that. We need to start really supporting those organizations so that we can not only protect ourselves, but the upcoming generation and the generation that's coming back down. So peace. I'll see you guys later.